Welcome one and all to episode 27 of Kakariko Road. I'm one of your hosts, Petter, and with me I've got my two co-hosts, Steven.
Hello.
And Chase.
We're monthly now.
Yes. Well, the topic in this month's episode of Kakariko Road is new genres for the Zelda franchise. Basically our spontaneous or not so spontaneous ideas for what video game genres we think would be cool to see in future Zelda games.
We may as well get the obvious out of the way.
Which is?
Steven, would you like to do the honors?
I mean, we've already talked about first-person shooter option. We have talked about Link's crossbow training before in this podcast.
Yes, we have.
Link's crossbow training is technically a third-person shooter, though. Isn't it?
I think we said that last time, but people yelled at us in the comments.
Well, I think it's like a little bit of each. I think you move around in third person, and then when you're like aiming, it turns into first person.
No, because you automatically move. It's not like Link can run around.
I'm pretty sure you can see the Link character, though, while you're in the gameplay.
It's a first-person shooter, Petter. Actually, more accurately, it's an arcade shooter, but...
Yeah, I would
really
think of it
there?
that way, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that would be a slightly different genre. But yeah, first-person shooter, well, it's funny, because originally, Ocarina of Time was supposed to be a first-person played game. Not purely a shooter, of course, but...
That would have been a mistake on the N64.
It was, yeah. But it was supposed to, like, originally the plan was to make it a first-person game, like, similar to, like, the Elder Scrolls games, or, you know.
Yeah.
First-person shooters, yeah, that is one option. Would you like to see, or is that something you would actually like to see, or is it just something you wanted to bring up?
Not really, no.
No. We just wanted to bring it up because, I was joking about it beforehand.
Yeah.
Right. Do you have anything that you would actually like to see, though, in a main series Zelda game? Something new added to the formula?
I was going to add before we continue is, like, are we talking about... We've had a discussion on this channel before about spin-off games, and that's where you usually, like, change genres. That's what spin-offs are.
Yeah.
So you're talking about main series Nintendo-developed Zelda games.
I was thinking a little, maybe some of each.
Okay.
We could probably, like, as much as possible, focus on the main series, because even the main franchise has made a lot of different changes to the gameplay within the main franchise. Like, the big ones, I would say, are Zelda 2, Four Swords, and Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, and I will actually say, my idea kind of comes off of Zelda 2 for what I want.
What is that?
I want a full-scale JRPG.
That'd be pretty cool.
It would be.
Like
and
a top-down?
Yeah, like, I don't know, probably top-down. I'm not really a huge fan of the Final Fantasy formula, per se, but, something along the general JRPG lines.
Like something like Chrono Trigger, or like something like that?
Yeah, Chrono Trigger is a great JRPG. Let's go with that one.
Yeah.
What? Are you talking, like, turn-based?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or actually, yeah. I mean, I guess if we're going JRPG, that's the obvious way. Because in a way, Zelda's already kind of an action RPG. And especially when you get into Zelda 2, when you have, the level system and all of that, that is the most RPG.
Even Breath of the Wild has RPG elements to it. Like, you can choose to level your stamina or your health. That's like a choice you make, and you can balance that however you please. And the items that you use, the weapons that you use, like all of that, like there's a bunch of those types of RPG elements in Breath of the Wild. So I think I wouldn't put it past them to put even more of those RPG elements into Zelda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would fit.
And honestly, the world's so great, I could see it pushing through, like, a really grand JRPG story as well.
Absolutely. Oh, yes, for sure.
With all the different races, you could have a full-on party. That would be super interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is
that would be awesome.
You would explore different, like, staple regions of the Zelda franchise, and you get a party member from each of them. So, like, you get a Zora party member, you get a Goron party member throughout the game. Yeah.
And then, Zelda would be the last minute end of the game Gato character.
Like she usually is anyway. So there you go.
Yep. Alright, so
Alec.
what about you guys? What do you want?
I don't know.
You have nothing that you would like to see?
I mean, part of that is like, I like surprises. And Nintendo's great at surprising people. So...
They really are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just within the main series, which usually isn't known for being that, like, changing things up too much, we had, like, Zelda 2 gave us a side-scroller, which was very different from what we had before. Four Swords gave us multiplayer, stage-based gameplay, which was nothing like what we had seen prior to that. And Breath of the Wild gave us an open-world game with a lot of things that were different compared to other Zelda staples. So it's really not just within the spin-offs,
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe like something that I would like to see would be a more story-heavy game. Maybe not even with Link as the main character, and the genre could focus more on.
Pat, are you getting more into spin-off territory again?
Do you think having Link as the main protagonist is necessary for?
We have had this conversation before.
Like
we did very early in our podcast endeavors.
this conversation can't really be avoided. And we are being a little bit redundant because we've discussed things like this in previous episodes, but...
I mean, yeah, this is just kind of an excuse to talk about more alternate takes on the Zelda series.
Right, of course.
After we've already done the spin-off episode, and we did the crossover episode, and now we got this.
Yeah, and we did the topic on what makes a Zelda game, but that was a long, long time ago. It was like half a year ago now. But anyway, what I was going to get to is... I personally don't think that Link is necessary to make it a main series Zelda game. Personally. As long as enough other things are in the game, I think it can still be considered a main series game.
Well, okay, so if we take that away, what genre, have any main character, what genre would you want this game to be if the main character is not Link?
I would like for it to be, well, as I said, I would like for it to be more story focused, and in the gameplay I would like it to be more stealth focused.
So you want Metal Gear Zelda?
Like, imagine a mixture of Metal Gear and Assassin's Creed.
I have played neither of those games.
And we've also discussed this before. Like, I've previously brought up Assassin's Creed, where I think that they've done a very good job melding, like recently, they've done a very good job of melding the stealth gameplay with RPG. I think Zelda could take advantage of that really well.
Yeah, by all means. Yeah, combine the stealth gameplay with the RPG gameplay, similar to Assassin's Creed, because I do enjoy those aspects of those games. And have that, and also the story, because the Assassin's Creed games also do story much better than the average Zelda game.
Even though the story is bullshit and we all know it for Assassin's Creed.
Well, I think
it varies.
But here's the thing: when I think of Assassin's Creed story, I don't think of the present day stuff. So
yeah,
no, generally not.
Even though that is technically the main story.
Though let's not get too into that.
That's it. Yeah.
I would just like to see, as I've made clear in previous episodes, I'm a big fan of stealth gameplay, and if that's something that I could see more of in Zelda, I would be very happy.
I would be too.
Adding more story and more, I guess for the stealth gameplay, just adding more focus on that, giving us more options on how to be stealthy.
And very much I think that's going to happen in the future Zelda series, if Breath of the Wild's anything to go by.
Exactly. I think we are moving in that direction. And I think it would be a natural step to continue in, So yeah, I think it's like the stealth genre, I think, is something that I would like to see being explored further, personally. And if that's combined with RPG genres, that would, I guess that would just be a bonus. That would be nice too.
Yeah, I agree.
And both of those are natural steps forward from Breath of the Wild, really.
Right, yeah.
My question is why specifically you wanted to be a different character than Link? What makes this so important that, like, maybe not important, what makes it so different that it doesn't fit with Link?
In my opinion, so here's my reason for, I mean, I'm not saying it couldn't be Link. I'm just saying that I don't think it's necessary for it to be a Link. And my reason for it that may strengthen the reason for it not being Link is that Link isn't that much of a character. In recent games, he has been given a little bit more of a character, but he's never very fleshed out. And I don't think he really should be.
I actually think that the developer said that Link is the epitome of an audience character.
Yes, and that's why he was named Link.
Exactly, he's the link between the player and the game, and
right.
That is what he is supposed to be. I don't think he should be anything more than that. You know, the amount of personality he has been given in Wind Waker and Breath of the Wild, for example, like that's about as much as of a personality that I would personally like to see from Link.
Yes, but what does that have to do with a stealth game?
It would contribute to the story.
Well, it doesn't. Well, it doesn't have to do with the stealth aspect of this game that I would like.
So pretty much what you're saying is you're bringing in two different arguments here. You're saying stealth game, and also I'm going to put in my anti-Link propaganda. That's what I mean.
I think what he wants is a stealth game with a good story, and to have a good story, he thinks that.
But that's
Link...
not really part of the genre, which means that's kind of off topic, which means propaganda.
Chase is right.
Then I don't know where you're going with this, Petter. Please elaborate.
It is true that story video game isn't really a genre unless you want to consider it.
Well, I didn't say it was a genre. I was just trying to mix two of your previous points, but
yes,
oh well.
You are right. Those were my points, but Chase is also right that I was kind of off topic.
Right.
My only real reason for not wanting Link is because I would have wanted a more story-heavy video game in which Link as a non-character wouldn't really cut it. But let's move on from that.
We come out with a horse riding game along the lines of all those stupid Wii shovelware games.
Ooh.
There you go.
Epona's
we've had Link's crossbow training, and now we're gonna have Epona riding. There you go.
How about like a racing game, like a Zelda racing game?
Epona Simulator 2019.
Perfect. I love it.
I would play it.
I would too. Absolutely.
Like it's a racing game. You can play as Link riding Epona. You can play as Ingo riding some other horse, or Ganondorf riding his black horse, and like a bunch of like racers like that. It's like Mario Kart but Zelda and horses.
And then the final boss will be the Running Man from Ocarina of Time.
Ah, yeah, he doesn't even have a steed.
He still beats you by 0.001 seconds.
For sure, yeah.
What was that character in Twilight Princess?
The mailman?
No.
Mr. Link,
although that'd be pretty funny to have the mailman be a racer in that game.
He's the joke character.
Running.
I mean, the mailman is basically the Running Man from Ocarina.
Oh yeah, they've got pretty much the same design.
There was like a mid-boss enemy that like rode a giant boar. I can't remember what his name.
King Bulblin. He rides on King Bulbo.
King Bulborb? No, Bulborb is Pikmin, isn't it?
There's another racer idea for you.
Bulborb is Pikmin. Bulbo, I think, is the boar.
Yeah, you might be right.
But I could be wrong. But anyway, that would also be a very good character for that racing or I should say riding game.
And then we get DLC, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh my god.
And we can get Link and Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. Or I guess it's Super Sonic Racing, the most recent one, because they're not even trying to do crossover anymore. Whatever.
Yeah?
City builder game.
I'm starting to become really on board with the racing game idea.
Like, I don't usually like racing games, but I'd play that.
It would be so much fun. It's like, are there even any like horse riding racing games out there? Like that are purely for that?
Probably a Barbie game at some point. You know I'm right.
But like, it's not a big genre though. Like, I think there's some money to be made here.
Most of those racing games are car games, because if it's game's going to be mostly focused around horses, then it's going to be sold with a mostly female demographic in mind. which is unfortunately
Probably.
just how our culture works.
It's like Barbie riding a
Exactly.
horse.
That's why I specifically said a Barbie game, because that's how almost every horse game is sold.
Yeah, that's
we're
a
talking
shame.
about Barbie for some reason when the conversation is about Zelda.
I mean, the conversation
Well-
is about horse games.
Barbie can be a DLC character in the riding game.
Why? Why is
We
this?
do not need this. This is not the intention of my statements.
No. But Chase, you were saying a city builder?
Yes, give me a city builder.
Yeah?
A city builder? Interesting.
I mean, we kind of almost had that kind of thing with the village in Breath of the Wild. I want like a full-on version of that. Just, I don't know. That would definitely be more spin-off, but whatever.
Yeah, I guess it's hard to stay to the main series
Because
with this genre.
How many series really spin off and really go into other genres without having it be a spin-off?
I would say, well, I think Kid Icarus is a good example of one of those series. It started off as a side-scroller and then turned into a third-person shooter.
But that was an evolution of the series.
Still, though, it is the same series, and it turned like from one game to another.
Like, it was a complete reimagining of the series, though. It's not like the series was like going for 30 years and then they changed it up so much of that. It was the
Yeah,
series
like
specifically
that was like
not
an
going for
evolution.
30 years. So and then Sakura was like, "Can I make my Angel game now? People like him in other games."
Yeah,
And Nintendo's like, "Okay, fine, make your game." That's what happened.
yeah, that is true. I would like to see something like I honestly wouldn't mind them making like just completely changing up the gameplay for a main series game, like because what they did with Breath of the Wild was, in my opinion, amazing. It was fresh, it was fun. That's the thing, really. As long as it's fun, I have nothing against it. And Nintendo is really good at making fun games. That's like where they really excel.
Hey, Chase, I got a question for you.
All right, what do you got?
Have you ever considered Nintendo partnering with Intelligent Systems to make a real-time strategy Zelda game?
So many times.
I think that could work in the same way as the JRPG one, where you can get more party members as you go throughout the story.
Yep.
And personally, I don't know which RPG system I would prefer, either turn-based or the, Fire Emblem style.
Fire Emblem is still turn-based. It's just vastly larger turns.
Well, like, by turn-based RPG, I mean, like, you're not going through a map, you're just,
Yeah.
picking your moves and whatever.
Tactical is the exact term for the Fire Emblem.
Tactical, there you go, there's the right word
Yeah.
for it, sure.
Yeah. I think that could work for a main series game. Even though, of course, it would be very, very different. But I think that could work for a main series game.
Yeah, I'd obviously be fine with it.
The fan base in general, though, like for these big changes, I don't think the general fan base would be happy.
That's the real issue, is, like, how is the fan base going to take these?
Like, that's one of the
Exactly.
reasons that
Nintendo.
I'm sticking with like RPG as my main focus for what to push forward, is because Zelda already has a lot of RPG elements. Actually, I guess even if we don't want to go all the way to JRPG, just make it an Elder Scrolls style game. I would play that. That would be awesome.
Breath of the Wild is very much in that direction, and it would.
Yeah, but Breath of the Wild doesn't have the full-on leveling system that Skyrim and all
Right.
those do.
that is true.
And really, it's like the full-on leveling system is what I imagine when I think RPG. At least me personally.
Yeah,
I
feel the same.
I do agree, and honestly, I'd like to see that because those sorts of leveling systems are a lot of fun in like making your playthrough unique.
Yeah.
You can really build your character in a very specific type of way,
Like,
and
I feel
it's fun.
like that's the kind of thing that is actually a natural evolution for the series. It's that, and I guess
Yeah,
the next
for
best thing I've heard is Petter's stealth game idea. Was-
Thank
Yeah,
you.
because Breath of the Wild was basically making the best with what you have. That's not exactly what Skyrim is, because you go down a certain progression path that you choose for yourself in Skyrim.
That's true. Breath of the Wild
Right.
is more survival than RPG.
It's more of an improvisation style of game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as Chase said though, it's very much a survival game, and I did think about this earlier, but forgot it until now that Chase mentioned survival. I think another direction to go from the Breath of the Wild direction. How about a post-apocalyptic Zelda game?
Petter, how many
A zombie Zelda game.
how many times have we done this? Look me in the eye. We're not in a webcam, but look me in the eye and tell me how many times have we done this?
I've lost count.
Exactly. And also, zombies are already a thing in Zelda. We have Redeads, we have Gibdos.
Precisely, but give us those, and like give us a lot of those. Like cover the world with those. Make it a straight up like survival horror zombie Zelda main series.
I don't know how many people would buy that, honestly.
I feel like that would change too much for that would change more than anything. If there's one thing that stayed the same in Zelda over the years, it's the atmosphere. It's been very similar. And changing it to a horror game of any kind will really change that. Like, if nothing else, that I feel is the main core of Zelda.
I can get behind a horror Zelda game, but I cannot get behind a survival. Those are two different genres to me.
I mean, survival horror is very much a genre. I mean, if you look at
I think they go very much hand in hand, because a horror game that's not a survival game takes away the horror aspects from it.
Steven, when you're thinking of survival game, you're thinking of like Minecraft or Don't Starve. We're talking about something more like Amnesia, let's say.
Yeah, or like Resident Evil or something like that.
Okay, now that I say I'm not thinking about Minecraft, but now I understand what you're saying. All right.
Like take Resident Evil for example. Like what makes those games horror is the fact that you're limited in your ways of attacking some of the enemies. Like some enemies maybe you can't even defeat at all, and then you have to either stealth your way around or run for your life to get away. And those types of scenarios I think would be a lot of fun in the Zelda world and with the Zelda lore, like having some Zelda enemies in those kinds of situations. I think could be a lot of fun. Because if you're able to kill anything, that kind of takes away the horror of it, because it won't be as scary if you're just able to kill.
There's a character in Resident Evil 2 Remake called Mr. X, who you cannot kill. You can stun him, but you cannot kill him. He will always follow you.
Exactly. Yeah, he is very scary. Like legit. So stuff like that, and just going like all out for things like that for a Zelda game, I think would be a lot of fun, because there's always been there's always been horror bits in Zelda games. Like there's been like a dungeon here and there that's been like horror themed. So I'd like to see an entire game being like that. Majora's Mask, I guess is the closest we've gotten to that, where it's kind of got this eerie vibe throughout the game, but it's not quite horror.
Yeah.
But I think it would work.
Majora's Mask does very much, like, that is the perfect in between, I guess, not really survival horror as much as like existential Lovecraftian horror.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I can get behind
actually that is something I would love to see in a Zelda game too. Like, that's a less popular version of horror, but they're like inconceivable.
I want it to come back, because that I like a lot.
I mean, it's not like a Zelda series doesn't have its own history of eldritch abominations.
Yeah, that is true.
Anything else you guys want to bring up before we close it off then?
I don't think I have anything specifically.
I don't either. I mean, this is... we kind of knew this before recording, but this is a redundant episode. It's an episode to have, sure, and I like having it. It's just that we're plucking ideas we've talked about previously and bringing them back up again.
We also brought up new ideas, though, so...
Oh yeah, for sure. And I enjoyed it. I enjoy the redundancy. But awesome. the reason why I don't have anything more to say is because I don't want to repeat more of what we've already talked about. I'm still on board for the racing idea though. I like that.
Oh, dude, I would play that so much. Like that would be such a fun party game. Like just like get some friends over.
Like once again, that's a game that definitely would be a spin-off, it would be good.
Yeah, it's definitely in the spin-off realm, 100%.
One of the courses would be like riding around the Long Ranch. But yeah, I think we'll probably run dry on ideas for this. But if you have any yourself, feel free to share them in the comments. We would love to see them, since we couldn't think of too many ourselves. I think at least I would be very interested in seeing some more if any of the listeners have any ideas themselves.
Yep.
And before we head off, I guess let's mention what other podcasts we're doing here on the channel. So this one that we did right now is scheduled to upload on the 1st of every month. On the 8th of every month, we have another, Chase.
Yes, that'll be the D&D podcast that I think we agreed to call Survival Check. Is that what we agreed on?
I think so.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be recording that this coming Monday, which will be the day after this podcast goes up. So,
oh yeah,
about 24 hours from when you see this, we will be playing the D and the D with, I don't know if they want us to use their real names or not. We got to ask them. So I'm just going to refer to them as Dom and Masudo. And
yeah,
we'll see how comfortable they are with all the rest of that come that time.
Yeah, we'll see. And that's going to be the premiere for the Dungeons and Dragons podcast.
Oh yeah, and Petter will be there too.
Yeah, I will. So that one's going up on the 8th, if everything goes according to plan. And on the 15th, I'm hosting together with Steven and James. James is the other guy from the Fire Emblem podcast. We are doing the Titan Tea Time, where we talk about the most recent chapter of Attack on Titan. We're doing that on the 15th, and we will be talking about chapter 121 next time.
Yep. I'm not sure what episode we're going to do just yet, but on the 23rd we'll have a new episode of Lords and Mercenaries, our podcast about the Fire Emblem series. Patter, what are your plans for the third reel?
The third reel is still on hold. Patrick and I have been talking about some various ideas, and we still have some more planning to do. Don't expect anything too soon, but in due time, the show will be back on air, and it may be changed up a bit to make it a little bit more interesting. But we'll see how it turns out. We still haven't finalized the details, but it will be back eventually. That's all I can say for now.
Yep. And we also have a more general themed show. It's not really a show, it's more of a video editorial style type of video, but I uploaded either yesterday as of publishing this video or the day before. I uploaded a video about my thoughts about the Switch Lite preview embargo that went up earlier this week. And this coming week, I will have an Astral Chain review up on the channel, so look forward to that.
Yeah, there may be a lot coming on that little, on the side series general show.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Steven's got a lot up in the pipeline, and looking forward to seeing what comes of it.
Definitely. So with that said, thank you all so much for listening.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys next week for another discussion. Or no, not next week. I used to say that before. Next month. For another Zelda discussion. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.